Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and welcome to a Let's Talk. In this episode, the timeline, 3060 plus. What does it mean to MechWarrior Online? So a couple things I want to mention. I'm assuming, theoretically, since the timeline went from 3055 to 3060, it was that 5-year span, we're going to be going no greater than double that, so 10 years. So everything I'm doing and everything I'm looking at, just to kind of preface this whole thing, nothing I'm looking at is greater than 3070. So pretty much 3067, because I'm going by the technical readouts. With that in mind, a couple things you need to know. Number one, timeline-wise. Comstar has given, or has quote-unquote found and released a whole bunch of technical readouts for lost mechs. The Star League has now been recreated under the Kurita, Davian, Liao, Merrick, Steiner. They're all under the Star League. Ghost Bear no longer exists. The FRR no longer exists. Those two have now commingled and coalesced into the great Free Razzlehag Dominion, for example. The Inner Sphere has, or the Star League has gone on its own crusade or war against Smoke Jaguar. And Smoke Jaguar, because of that, and due to a lack of supplies and resources, has invented the Proto Mech. A mech that's not quite a mech, but not quite an elemental. Elemental is basically just a dude in power armor. But it's kind of a mixture of the two. So, kind of a heads up as to what's going on. So it's a bit of a, we'll say, a less conflicty time. I say less conflicty because it's still rather conflicty. Most of the clans and houses are really busy with internal conflicts, not so much external conflicts. It's a lot of just internal strife and all that stuff. If I'm not mistaken, there's also a civil war in this time frame. And it's the eve of the jihad. I think the jihad is in 3075, I think. Yeah. So we're not quite the jihad yet, but we do have things like, Comstar, the new Star League, Star League's fighting Smoke Jaguar, the Free Razzlehag Dominion. So timeline's definitely going to be shaken up a little bit. So is the faction warfare map. Good third of it, at least 33%, should be under some sort of clan banner. But you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, I could give two shits about the timeline. What about the mechs? Mechs are what I want. Well, that's what I want to look at. Well, let's go over that, shall we? So I've used the Comstar information associated with the Battletech readouts for 3060. There is about 6 light mechs that we could get. About 7 or 8 medium mechs. And roughly around the same amount of heavies. And about 6 assaults for the Inner Sphere. Clan mechs, it's a lot of 2C variants in the 3060s. Like the Orion 2C, Highlander 2C, Commando 2C, Urban Mech, the Wyvern, the Clint. A lot of these things we don't have right now, so yeah. The Nova Cat is released. The Shadow Fox. Now, the thing here is the Shadow Fox and the Arctic Fox are also released at the same time. So, the Cougar, the Ursus, for the clans, the Stalking Spider, the Stooping Hawk, the Matador, the Predator, the Guillotine 2C. There are a lot of mechs for the clans in this time frame. I will tell you now, are not as sophisticated as the Inner Sphere mechs that are going to be getting released. This is also the time frame where the Inner Sphere is now no longer really fighting the clans. Now they're also hiring clan mercenaries, getting their hands on clan tech, and catching up to clan tech very fast with the use of, or the help of Comstar. Now, protomechs are the big thing. Whether they'll be included or not, I can't see them being included because they're just too small. And that pilot would have way too much of an advantage over, say, an Atlas, who's big, slow, theoretically could kill you in one shot, maybe two, if they could get you. Don't know how they would institute this, but Protomechs. They're used by Clan Smoke Jaguar, and there's about 8 of them, I think. Yeah. Basically, they're a small mech. Picture a mech about half the size of a Locust, basically, if not smaller. And basically, all it does is carries 1 or 2 weapons on it. So you're looking at maybe 2 small lasers, 1 small laser, 1 small pulse, maybe 1 SRM. And I mean, by 1 SRM, I mean like 1 missile. Like they'll do 1 point of damage. And maybe 1 energy, maybe a machine gun, maybe just 2 machine guns. Nothing that's could be dangerous unless you left it alone. Now, how they would be able to integrate that into the game could be really hard, because if you have 12 on 12, and of the 24 players, one of them has a protomech, you are immediately there down 95 tons. These things don't weigh much, maybe 5 tons. So you're automatically down 95 tons theoretically. If everyone was in pug queue, no one was in a group, everyone just hit play, you're immediately down 95 tons theoretically. So the way they can I can't see them really being able to integrate them all too great and all that much into the game, just because of the inabilities of it. I mean, it would be able to take out a mech. Like, it could take out an Atlas, no problem. If you have a lance of 4 of them, they can probably take out anybody on the battlefield. It's, death by 1,000 cuts. Pick the biggest guy possible and just run around them and keep shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, right? Shoot, disengage, that's all you'll be doing. So, I mean, Protomechs could be used, but you would need at least 3 or 4 of them probably to be able to actually be effective. But who knows? Now, if we go to the next technical readout, which is 3067, this is right at the cusp of the jihad, the word of Blake. The FedCom Civil War is where the Liberian Commonwealth and the Federated Commonwealth been fighting for the last 2 years. Basically, they've been fighting a civil war for the last 5 years. So, in that time frame that we just talked about, right after it, basically, a civil war started between the Illyrian Alliance and the Federated Commonwealth. Now, with that in mind, there's a lot of new mechs. This is where the Intersphere really starts to catch up with the clans. So you got the Razorback, the Stiletto, the Red Shift, the Anubis has lights, the Chimera, the Bloodhound, the Izzle, and the Cronus as mediums. You got the Argus, the White Flame, the Perseus, and the Thanatos. I think that's how it's pronounced. And the Heavy Mechs. Now, mind you, there's even more. There's like a minimum of 8 mechs per level. For the assaults, you get the Legacy, the Akuma, the Fafnir, and the Vanquisher. Clan mechs, not so much. Clan mechs, as you go, become less and less potent, basically, because as time progresses, the clans have less and less resources. They're fighting insurgencies, so they're getting less and less efficient. This is where we could theoretically have, though, the Mad Cat Mark II. It came in 3067. That'd be pretty interesting. The Hellion, the Solitaire and the Spirit Lights, the Lobo, the Crimson Langer, the Rabid Coyote in the mediums. For heavy mechs, you got the Hellfire and the Bowman. And then assaults, obviously, the Mad Cat Mark II and the Blood Kite. Lots of options available. This is also where the next set of dropships come in as well. The Outpost clan dropship, the Overlord A3, the Merlin, the Assault Triumph for the Inner Sphere. What does that mean? Well, maybe we'll see different dropships. newer dropships, better dropships, more efficient dropships. Well, not efficient, but who knows, right? I mean, there's so many different things. I'm not even going to go into weapons because I'm going to tell you now, in 3060 is also when the game brought in the Battle Value 2.0 system. So the way MechWarrior is playing right now with all the mechs and robots and stuff is going to change immediately. How, like, even how other certain weapons are created. So how they're going to integrate the battle value system associated with the 3055 or 3060 plus mechs. It's going to be kind of hard. The weapons, because they're made to fit a different, basically different rule set for the tabletop. So we'll have to see that. But yeah, we're probably going to be looking at heavy lasers, heavy machine guns. Could we be looking, obviously, different missile systems? Now, how they're going to retrofit these on older mechs, who knows? Maybe there's a penalty. If you put a heavy large laser on an Atlas like this, maybe there's a skill penalty. Maybe there is a, I don't know, I'm trying to think here. Some sort of penalty. Now, one thing that I do want to try to figure out is right now we have, theoretically, under the new skill tree, AC-20 cooldowns, generic, Gauss cooldowns, things like that. Now, what I want to know is, right now we have small, medium, and large skill tree quirks, I'm thinking. Or we have just generic energy series. I'm kind of wondering about how that's going to work as well, right? Because if we have generic ones, you can build mechs pretty much any way you want and constantly be changing out, large lasers, heavy lasers, whatever, with no problem. But if they do this and then later on bring in, say, heavy weapons, and then heavy weapons have their own section of the skill tree, personally, I'm going to be pissed. So how they integrate the new weapons as well in to the skill tree is going to be very interesting as well. So we're going to look forward to that. But I believe that's a nice spot to end on. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the 3060 plus? How far ahead do you think we'll go? We went from 3050, when it was 3055, and we have mechs that came out after 3055. For example, like the Orion 2Cs and and the Marauder 2C, for example, came out after 3055. So, how far do you guys think we're going to go in the future? 10 years? 5 years? Maybe we're only going to go 5 for now. Who knows? Anyways, see you guys next time. See you on the battlefield. Bye-bye.